This is Hector.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Hector.
So what grade are you guys in?
7, 6, 4, 7.
4th, 5th, 6th, 7th? Wow. When I was in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, I was thinking about making video games.
3.
So, let me tell you a little bit about myself so you guys can get an understanding of who I am, and then we can go around and talk about games and the stuff that I built and go from there. So, my name is Hector Llanos.
What's your last name, Hector?
Llanos.
Llanos.
L-L-A-N-O-S.
Great, great, great.
So I lived in Seattle. I moved to Georgia. I went to school, high school, college out there. And then all of a sudden I was like, I play video games. I play Halo, I play the Call of Duties, and I really want to make those. So I went to Full Sail and I got a degree in video game programming. So I can pretty much make games, and make engines, and make animations. And all.
Tell me about Full Sail.
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
What's ironic that my name is Halo?
I know.
Tell you about Full Sail. So Full Sail is a school that does a lot of entertainment degrees. So a lot of people, like even I am hiring for game positions right now. We look for people who have degrees. So if you don't have a degree, you're probably not going to get in the game industry. It's a sad truth now. Unless you're really, really good and you already guys are making games now, so you guys don't have to worry about that.
Where is it located, the school?
Full Sail is located in Florida. They do have online degrees, so you guys could sit at home and do your degree in 2 years and not leave on couch. So,
I want to go to Florida.
yeah, Florida is nice. It's not as nice as California, though.
True.
25 days.
Exactly. So I was there for 2 years. We learned everything from building animations to doing gameplay, some of the boring stuff like data structures, and, everything like that, science, those boring things. But if you want to be a programmer, that's the track you go on. I'll be honest, it's hard, but it's super rewarding because you get paid well and you get pretty good perks. You get to play video games.
I do it for fun.
There's that too, and you get to actually play video games when you're at work. That's not actually what you're working on too. There's other tracks too, like art.
That too, a lot.
There's art, so you can do like cool pictures that you guys are doing, characters, environments, concept arting, all that stuff. So when you see these big games like, what's the new game coming out?
Destiny?
Yes, Destiny. Yeah.
What is it?
Destiny.
Destiny. Like he knew. Okay.
So they, the actual traditional pipeline of making games, like big games like that, like Destiny, usually take 2 years. They have hundreds of people working on it, and they're all doing their things and making one game.
Yeah,
right?
but sometimes low-quality games just pop up in a day with one person working on it. Like me, I did that once.
And so, with the big games, there's a big design area where a lot of the artists, they make some of the characters, so the cool armor and the cool guns and the cool weapons and all that other stuff. While that's going on, the programmers are making the game, like what you guys are doing right now, prototyping and making sure it's fun, because who wants to play a game that's not fun? It's just pointless. So that goes on for about 2 years, and then finally you get a full game. Now, some of the stuff that I've worked on has been strictly in Unity. So even though I do have experience doing like other stuff, most of my professional experience has been in Unity. So we made, I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games.
Ooh. Of your own, or you've worked on teams with hundreds of other people, or
it's probably like 30 or 40.
I see. No, just trying to understand the
30 or
scale.
40 people on a team?
Yeah.
How do they break out?
So we had 7 engineers. So those are the programmers. They do all the gameplay, all the getting the character to walk and like, you know, making him do this and stuff like that. Or if you want to pick up a weapon, stuff like that. Then we had, I want to say around 5, probably like, no, that was probably 8 to 10 artists, varying from what they actually did. So there's 3D modelers. What they do is actually, if you want a table that's 5 by 10, they'll create a table that's 5 by 10. You give them the specs and they'll create it for you. If you want a character with flaming hair and a cape and, you know, unicorn hair or something, I don't know, they'll make it for you. You sketch it out and they can pretty much draw anything. And then there's texture artists. Texture artists are the guys who take the models and make it pretty. So, like let's say you have a really amazing box, but you want this box to be blue. Well, you know, right off the bat, you can have an engineer do it, but he's going to be busy doing other things. So the texture artist will color the box blue. That's essentially what they do.
And if you wanted it blue velvet, you could make it look like blue velvet.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
And then we have producers. Producers are the guys who tell you what to do. That's essentially what we want. So yeah, so they will let you know, like, hey, there's an issue on level 5, or, you know, the player is running around in a circle and not touching anything, there's a problem, you know? Or they say, like, we want this really cool feature in there, like flying, and you have to, you know, add it in there. So that's what their job is. So depending on...
Sort of like testers.
Those are another role. It's called testers or QA, quality assurance. And what they do is day in and day out play with them. So whether that's level 1 for one day and then like level 5 the next, or play until you hit level 30. Yeah, so that's what they pretty much do. And then we got some other people doing some other.
They have a little insight on the game so they can beat the levels easier.
Yep. I do that all the time. I highly suggest adding cheats to your games just for testing. Because there's certain situations, like, I get frustrated because I'm not even good at my own game. So,
Like say
That's
pro,
funny.
we like put in like cheats like
What did he say?
Health and like
Exactly.
infinite ammo. And also
He's not what?
He's not good at his own game.
Oh.
So you
Yes. So
That's how you know it's
you can
good.
do cheat codes like that. You can do like cheat codes to jump to the next level. And sometimes, you can even leave them in so people can find them themselves. A lot of the old games did that. Primarily not just to...
And I'm not adding any cheat codes to my game.
Didn't there used to be another name for that? That was built in, something that was built in?
Easter egg?
Easter eggs?
Easter eggs.
We used to call it Mac.
That's a little different, right? An Easter egg is
Easter eggs
more...
a little different than a straight cheat code. Cheat
Yeah.
codes are just to instantly get like gratification of some sort. Easter egg is something making the player find out, like, having a Nintendo logo somewhere in the background or some variation of it or something like that.
But I know that there was a word that Mac used to use in their voodoo book, and I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to let you know there's some water right here on this table for you.
Awesome sauce.
If you need some.
I'm more of a coffee guy than
You need water.
so yeah, that's pretty much what I've done and what I do. And I'll show you a little bit about my game, and if you guys have any specific questions in Unity, we can knock those out. If you guys want to learn how to build to iOS, I can do that. If you guys want to learn how to build to since you guys are all using PC, you can make a PC version. Or if you guys want to show me something cool that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, I'd love to show you mine.
Okay,
You guys
great.
got any questions? Like 4 weeks. Was
4 weeks, one person? And this one?
It took 3 people.
3 people.
I did all the programming.
So 12 weeks, one person.
Huh? Okay. So I did all the programming. My friend did all the art, and another guy did all the audio.
Audio. Don't forget about the audio, right?
Yeah.
That's,
Music is-
here, so you can see that.
Music is very forgotten in video games.
That's what I had somebody else tell me, and he's a music guy.
Yeah, and it's usually like the second thing put in, or second to last usually.
So just go without.
Okay, so Copter Boy.
Most of the stuff that I did was actually in prototype phase. You guys can't even hear the audio, but it's not hooked up to this. Yeah,
Hear a little bit.
Yeah, oh yes, yeah.
There we go.
So yeah, so pretty much all it is just moving around the screen and avoiding platforms. And then get to the top. Oh, I've been testing stuff, so let me do something.
What's that?
Yeah.
It's so hard. Now.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I told you I'm really bad at my own game. So,
I think I'm good at it. I think I might be good at it. It
Yeah.
looks like
Well,
Flappy
you'll get a
Bird.
chance to, just a second,
Okay,
let's.
I work. Okay. It looks like Flappy Bird. It looks like a good mobile game.
Except for
You
his
saw it
handful.
online?
It looks like Flappy Bird except for his handful.
so that's pretty much the game. Most of the stuff you can actually go to the leaderboards if this was actually on the phone. I can show you guys that.
This is on the phone?
Yep.
Yeah, that's why it's the shape that it is, because it's a phone game. And
Yeah. I
iOS.
so
and
want
iOS.
Yeah.
So it's for iPhones only?
Can I get on iPods? They're pretty
Yeah.
much
Yep. So right now, essentially what we're doing, we first released the iPhone and iPhone 5S, or iPhone 4 and iPhone 5. Excuse me. The next installment we're gonna do is do iPad and iPod Touch. This is primarily just because they're different screen sizes and they have more memory, so we're going to add some more features like particle effects and pretty stuff to jazz it up. But yeah, so that essentially took me 4 weeks. I can go back and show you how it looks. It was essentially blue boxes and a green box to represent the character. The blue boxes represent the platforms that were going vertically down.
Sounds familiar.
And the character was a green box that moved around. So this actually eliminated me from waiting on art and able to get the gameplay up and running. And like for example, get the menus up and running. So that
That would be interesting to see the prototype.
I think that would be
Okay.
good for them to see, yes.
Alrighty, let me.
No, just-
So once you start working in projects, it's a good thing to do source control. Source control this is probably, you don't really have to do it, but
Yeah.
it's a good learning, a good thing to learn. So what it does is it makes essentially a snapshot of your project every time you send it off to the servers out in the World Wide Web. So there's a place that I store it, which is called a repository, and so this is the whole Unity project as it stands.
So what are you using as your repository?
I'm using Beanstalk.
What is it called? GameStalk?
Beanstalk.
Oh, Beanstalk.
Like Jack and
Yeah.
what is Beanstalk again?
It's a repository. It's a social tool repository. So you can do. I'm gonna open up the website actually right now. Or Beanstalk app. One of the two. I don't remember.
Is that similar to Dropbox?
No. Dropbox is just whatever you have as is. So this is Beanstalk right here. You can see what their features.
Beanstalkapp.com.
Wow.
And I paid for like the cheapest one because it's just me paying for it.
Right.
So,
It's just you working on your code.
exactly.
Okay.
So it's like $15. It's private, so nobody else can get access to it. It's great just because if you use like Google Code, I think it's that. Theirs is free, but it's public. So like if you put your project up here, anybody can have access to it.
What about Git?
Git's the same thing as SVN in the sense of how you version control. It depends on who's hosting it, just like how you host a website. So Google's is open to anybody to look at, and then Beanstalk is private. That's why.
That makes sense. You want to keep your stuff
Keep
private.
it private. And
Yeah, you could do GitHub, but you have to pay for private.
exactly. So those are the options you can do.